Hey, happy NFL Sunday, our final slate between four teams now as we come into play on the conference championship games. We're going to break out your game lines. We're going to break out your player props. We got a whole list for you to talk about. Hell, this team might go an hour and a half just between two games. We'll see what happens here, but make sure you guys stay tuned here and let's lock it in here. No, that is not a beer, guys. This is an energy drink. Getting ready for tonight's game for the Chiefs, of course. But hey, this is Lock It In. This is on the Rec Room Sports Hub. My name's Tanner Dawson. Join with me once again at Scott Cobe and Coach Joey. Guys, what's up?
What's going on?
Tanner, I've been looking for the Patriots game, championship game tonight. Any idea what channel it's on?
NFL Network, I think, is running reruns right now. You might go check them out. They might have something, maybe in the vault. NFL Plus.
Maybe the 2001 Super Bowl or something. Could that be?
Just don't go looking at the 2000, what have that been, 19, 18?
Excuse me, the Dan Quinn collapse of all time, 28-3. Would that be the other one?
Oh, yeah, there you go. Oh, man, guys. Hey, we got like I said, hell of a slate today. We got a lot of player props to tackle today, a lot of game lines between just four teams today in the NFL slate. But let's do a little recap as we're waiting on Alan to get back here. Look, I started tracking our stuff yesterday, everything that I put into DraftKings, right? So I failed to put in like my player props that I added late. So shame on me. But they actually did pretty well for my side. But at the same time, it's everybody between all four of us here. Outside of a few plays I had, I mean, we still came out profitable, right? Still came out profitable. 0.29% total ROI. Hockey was a little rough. Basketball wasn't, it was better, but not in that sense. But I mean, we still came out positive in the basketball ranks. We still came out positive in the hockey ranks side of things. So I don't think we can be too mad about this here, guys. For our first day all together, discussing all the sports. NCAA basketball, NBA, NHL, and of course Scott hit his tennis bets today as well. So, look, I'm telling you, we're going to cover it all. I don't know how, but we will. So, but today is primarily focused on the NFL. Okay, we might dabble a little bit. There's only one game for NBA. I know NHL has a decent slate. They have some back-to-backs from yesterday. College basketball doesn't really have too many big games at all, so you might see a small dabble if we got time, but don't expect it.
There's one college hoops game that's big today.
Yeah, I know. I saw
Army versus Navy today.
Hey, Army, baby. Take that spread.
Yep.
Take that spread. That's what I'm going for. Nah, it's a pretty small slate there. But hey, you guys know how we do it. We pick a player, excuse me. I'm going too fast. We're going to go through each game, okay? We're going to hit the game line of that game. We're going to discuss the game lines of that game, the trends, what we like coming out for those game lines, your spreads, your totals, your money line, your halftime, first half bets here. We're going to discuss that. And then we go into player props where we discuss a player and we break down his props that we like on that player. And then we move to the next player. And then we move whoever else wants to talk about. We try to hit about 5-6 players each time on between each game and between each team. So that's kind of the goal here. And then at the end of that certain game that we are covering, we're going to lock in our bets. That's exactly what we do. We're going to lock it in. If you hear this sound, get your DraftKings app up. Go get your FanDuel app up. I don't care what you get up. This is what we're doing. That's what the sound you're looking for. So that's how we're going to do it here today, and that's what we do every week here. Guys, real quick before we do move on to the NFL, any comments from yesterday's slate that we ended up betting?
Yeah.
Tanner, block your ears, Tanner. Kansas-Houston game was very profitable to us yesterday, even though it wasn't the result that one of us was looking for. So Dickinson went over.
I want to talk about
Dickinson went over. The total went over. So that was good. I think college was a little bit better for us than I even thought it was. So we're back at it again today. Not so much college, but I missed one game on an 18 parlay that would have paid $400. And Alan blew it for me. It was Kentucky.
Alan with his talk about Vandy upsetting UK. If he didn't say that, UK probably would have won. So
that's right. I blame Alan for this. Alan's fault.
Kentucky is not on a betting list of mine. They screw everything up every time I bet them. So they're eliminated. I've officially X'd them out of football and basketball. So and they're already X'd out because I'm a KU fan. So but yeah, they're officially done. I gave them plenty of chances.
The other thing is Mark Sears 0 points in 17 minutes yesterday.
Yeah.
I didn't see an injury at all yesterday, so I don't know what it was.
I didn't notice one. Coach Joey, did you notice that? I know he made the starting lineup.
Yeah, I didn't see an injury as well for him.
Which is weird for me. But
yeah, another on that Mississippi State South Carolina game, RJ Melendez, he was usually money for those last 5 or 6 games to get that 10 points. Shot the ball one time yesterday. South Carolina played some pretty good defense. Surprisingly, they were 0-6 in the conference play in SEC going into that game in the bottom of the cellar, and then had double-digit steals. So that was surprising.
Yeah, there was a few surprises. I mean, if you guys followed my underdog for the SMU game, no, it wasn't the SMU game. It was the Florida Georgia game, and I had 3 players miss by basically, 0.5 to tie, so 1 point to beat their prop, and then had one other player in the four-man underdog matchup that ended up going, I believe, 2 over. So. Or 1.5. So, hey, that's the way it goes, though, man. It's just tight games. You know, I had a good slate last night. Late last night, I threw in a underdog for the Milwaukee Clippers game. You know, I nailed Giannis's PRA. Nailed Leonard's. James Harden. I had the assist. He hit right on the dot at 9, so that was a void basically, or push. The only guy that didn't hit in my 6-man slate was the ghost himself, Chris Middleton, on his assists. He hit it like every game in the last 5 games and couldn't get. He had 1 assist the entire game. So that's just how it goes. That's just how it goes.
I hate that.
Killer. But that's what we do. That's why we love betting. So but yeah, let's get into it, guys. Here, Alan should be on shortly, so we'll get into it. The slate here. First game of the day. Where did I do with my stuff? Sorry, guys. Get my lines up here. All right. Here's what we got. Washington, Philly, in Philly. Weather looks good. Light wind. It's going to be about 30s to the upper 20s as well in this game. Philadelphia coming in -6 favorites. Over, under 46.5, 47. And then your first half betting lines there are -3.5 for the Philadelphia Eagles. Over, under 23.5. Guys, let's discuss it here. Let's talk about game lines solely right now. What are we thinking here? What do we like for these game lines here? Scott, I'll let you start, man.
So Washington came out right away 6-point underdogs. So I took it. And it went down to 4.5 right away. And then it boosted right back up to 6. So, and it's been at 6 ever since. So for a week, it's been at 6. So money's coming in both sides. I kind of like Washington to backdoor cover it. I don't know if they can win the game. I don't know if they're going to be able to stop what has killed them in the 2 games they played. But I like Washington plus the 6. And I like the over. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. It's going to be perfect weather, for January, 44 degrees, sunny. So I think there's going to be a lot more scoring than people think in this game, because I don't think Washington's going to be able to stop Philly, and I don't know if Philly can stop Washington offensively based on how they played the last game against Washington, which was, I think, 36-33 was the final, I believe.
Yes.
It was 36-33. It was a 4-point spread there for Philadelphia favored. The game before that in November was a 4.5-point spread for Philadelphia, and they covered that one. So, of course, in the play. But, hey, we got 12-6-1 against the spread for Washington. We have 12-7-0 for Philadelphia. Pretty even teams against the spread here this year between the two matchups. Over under 12-7 for Washington, 8-11 for Philadelphia. Coach Joey, man, what do you like on these game lines for today?
I'm definitely taking the over on this one, fellas. I think today will be a repeat of their second matchup of the season, where it's very high scoring. We just went over that score, 36-33. I'm looking for points to be scored in bunches. I know these two teams are run heavy, specifically Philadelphia as well. But I do think this will be a game where, the coordinators, they call some of their best plays, get a little creative. And I'm definitely looking for that over to cover for sure in this one.
Yeah, I like the over as well. Allen has the meteor for plus 900. I don't think he's going to get that, but it's worth the bet in the play. Yeah, I'm just trying to look here at some of the trends here. Philadelphia Eagles have hit the first half money line 12 of the last 14 games, and Washington has hit the first half money line 11 of their last 17 games. First half spreads looks like they're about even there. 11 of the last 14 for Philly, 12 of the last 17 for Washington. I feel like there's a pretty great matchup to have in the NFC conference championships here. I mean, both teams' trends are, from a betting perspective at least, are pretty spot on. They pretty much match up. They all have similar trends going on. I think the only thing different is Washington has hit the fourth quarter game total over 10 in the last 12 games, and Philly has hit covered the third quarter spread total the last 17 games. That's like literally your biggest difference here between, and just based off trends and positive ROI on these bets here. So, I mean, this is going to be a good matchup. I'm excited for this here. I don't notice any big injuries that I'm aware of. I know Jalen Hurts is banged up, but he'll be out there. He'll play in that one.
So the two things that I'll say, one thing I'll say about this is Slay and Mitchell got hurt in last week's game.
They did.
They're off their injury report, but they still are banged up. They're full. They're still banged up, I think.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, everybody's banged up, right? But, can you practice? Can you get out there? That's the biggest.
I think that could lead to a lot of passing for Washington instead of running. Because I think that Washington is going to see and say to themselves, these guys are banged up. Let's test them early and see if they're fine. And
that's true too. No
Deron Payne, which will lead to one of my props that I got coming up when we go props. But I think they're going to test the secondary early and see how they are. And if they're fine, I think they'll scale back to running the ball a little bit more. But if they're not, and they can beat them, I think you're going to see Daniels on an aerial assault all day long today. So.
Right. And I mean, we've talked about it probably all week long, right? We talked Tuesday night about the keys of the game on the Rec Room weekly there. We've talked on other shows and all that. Like, what's the key here? I mean, Daniel's just playing this ball that he's been playing. Like, keep turnovers, keep it off the board there, keep that zero mark, keep the drives alive, execute on third down. Like, that's your biggest key. Philadelphia, I mean, that's pretty much the same thing. Keep Daniels off the field, keep your defense off the field and just go down the scoring drive. Use Saquon, right? So that's I believe that's a few of the biggest keys there. Do you guys have anything else you want to make quick on the keys for each team?
I think one of the AJ Brown and Devonta Smith's going to have a huge game today. Don't know which one it is, but one of the two is going to have a big game today.
if you look at that last game that they matched up, Jalen Hurts got hurt in that game, and the backup came in.
Kenny Pickett.
Yes. And AJ had a humongous game. He had 15 targets. I think he ended up with about 7 catches, 97 yards, and a touchdown. And then also Devontae Smith saw an uptick in his targets as well. Yeah. So I do agree with you. I don't know which one, but you look at the Washington Commanders secondary. They acquired Marshawn Lattimore. He's pretty decent in coverage, but the other corner tends to give up some yardage and chunks sometimes. So I do think that one of the receivers, as long as Jalen Hurts can get that ball to them, they will have a nice, pretty good game with them.
Yeah.
Taylor, the other thing is the narrative's been Saquon this, Saquon that, Saquon this. I would not be surprised if Philly comes out and tries to throw the ball early and move away from him a little and then go back to him as the game goes on.
But can they do it?
That's the
can
question.
They do it? Does that hurt him? Does that hurt him?
No, I agree. Because Washington, you know what Washington's going to do.
Their strength is the run game. Jalen Hurts rushes the ball as well. This is strength right there is what you need to focus on your team. What do we bag Lamar about every freaking playoff? Not do it like Harbaugh, not Lamar. Harbaugh and his coaching staff. What do? They go away from their strengths.
Yep.
And Philly can't do that. Philly has to stick with their strengths. What's working? There's a reason why you're here today. And it's because you've been doing what works. I don't think they can come out and pass. They shouldn't.
I would agree with that, but Sirianni's been a strange coach for most of his career. So
he's a strange man. Okay, he's a strange man. He's not Adam Gates level, but he's strange.
It's gonna be interesting to see how healthy Jalen Hurts is. He did get hurt in that Rams game as well. Knee injury. He practiced in full the last couple of days, but it's gonna be interesting if he has the mobility that he usually possesses. And if he's able to extend the plays in the pocket when things aren't looking good downfield for his receivers to get open. So that's going to be.
He's going to be braced up today. So I don't know how that'll restrict him, if at all. But
I believe if the guy's out there playing the game, he's going to play
healthy enough to play.
It's plain and simple, right? Mahomes is out there. We every year around the same time frame, high ankle sprain, and what does he do? He rushes for 180 yards and 8 touchdowns, right? It's stupid, but that's what players do. If you're out there, you're playing your ball. You're playing what made you successful, right? And if you get hurt, you get hurt. But you can't allow, especially at this time of year, right? You can't allow an injury to pull you back and keep you from playing the ball you need to play. Plus, you're going 100 miles an hour anyways, right? Yeah. You have a split seconds to make a moment's notice. Instincts kick in and you go. So I'm not too worried about that point. I really not. I know they're taking care of him from a bandaging or you should have wrapped up, whatever. That's fine. If he's out there, he's out there, and only certain guys that we see out there that they notice that their instincts and what their body can do can't work. And I don't see Jalen Hurts being that guy of stopping because his body hurts. I think he's just going to fight through it like most players do. I think he's still young enough to be able to do that, right? So,
plus if he's hurting, you can always just turn around and hand it to 26 and let him go.
That's not a lie, man. So, you got him there for a reason, right? So you got Gainwell there, experience level. You got a good backfield. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get into it here. By the way, we're gonna take that over. We're gonna take that over, guys, in total points. If you want just early bet there. Oh, look who it is! The man that just hopped on just in time. What's up, Alan?
God, jeez.
Don't you just hate it when the stores you're trying to go to are closed for no reason? Or then you gotta go somewhere else.
Hey, you're in Oklahoma. The liquor store is always closed on Sundays, all right?
Not really. There are two that are open. There are two that are open that I know of.
I just like to blame the Bible Belt for stuff. So, all right.
I mean, that
Alan,
is true. That is true. It is their fault.
Yeah, it is. Alan, we were just finishing up game lines, man. We're getting ready to going into our favorite part of the show here, where we have great discussions. Right, we're gonna pick a player. Somebody's gonna drop a name. We're gonna pull up his player prop stats, and we're gonna go off those lines here and see what we like. See what we like. We're gonna see his trends just like we did yesterday, all day, and see what, just enjoy, have a good conversation, see what we like. Hopefully, we help you guys out there on making your bets, making your decisions for your side. I do got multiple tools up. I got my heat map up. That's done by the Basement Brew Fantasy Football Mikey out there. He's still going with it through the playoffs. He has all the data. I'm talking paragraphs out there, so make sure you go check him out. I have betting pros up for the game lines as well for that. Price picks. We got to start right away with one guy. I can tell you that much from Price Picks here. We got to get it done. I think there's only like an hour and a half left. And Underdog and DraftKings are the bets I'm using right now, the sites. So, but let's get into it, guys. I think it's time. I didn't share my screen, did I?
Do we want to start with the fun name, or do we want to start with the stud names?
No, we got to start with one stud name real quick here because we got to get it locked in. Okay, we got to get it locked in. For this game here. Ooh, I don't.
All right, Saquon, you're up then. You're up, Saquon.
Nope.
Norman Powell's playing today? Really?
If you, I know, right? See, I told you I was looking up stuff yesterday. If you guys look up on Prize Picks right now, you guys can go get Jaden Daniels 0.5 passing yards on the over right now on Prize Picks. So there's only 2.5 hours left until that is officially gone. So go add it to your slate if you're running with a Prize Picks slate there.
Alan,
it'd be hilarious if he didn't complete a pass today.
Do you have Prize Picks in Oklahoma?
Huh?
I saw the ad for it, but I don't think we do. I'm not sure.
Because that Prize Picks or Underdog is the way you can bet if you can't go on DraftKings and FanDuel. So
yeah. I can send you my link, Alan. You can try. So
cool.
For it. Worth a shot. All right, guys, let's really get into it. I just want to drop that Prize Picks one because, like I said, it's 0.5 passing yards. You don't have to worry about it. That's stress free on a Jaden Daniels pick. So, Coach Joey, I know you got that one locked in.
Oh yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They also had I believe a weekend bonus as well. I think I used that last night. So I got a $10 free bet that we'll pop into as well. But hey, somebody drop me a name right now. If we want it, we can just continue with Jaden Daniels and look at his bets. We want to do that?
Let's start with Jaden Daniels. Let's go Jaden Daniels first.
Yeah, let's pop it in, man. Let's look at here. So if you're not using Prize Picks on the passing yards here, here's what we got for the last 10. Currently, playoff wise, right? 268, 299. His line is roughly around the 222.5 mark that we're seeing here. Guys, what discussion, what are we seeing? What filters do we want to put on?
I will go back to the last Philly-Washington game, and that's where Jaden Daniels started to turn this corner and started to become – he was over the rib injury. He was healthy. I think that's the game where he started to ascend to where he is now. So, take out the Dallas game because, they hardly played and whatever. He's hit this prop in 5 straight and 6 out of the last 7. So, 2.5, I think he's going over. For Washington to win this game today, the narrative has to be Jaden Daniels has to throw the ball and be effective, efficient, and successful. So, I think he's going over the prop today.
Oh, which prop? Passing yards?
Passing yards.
Yep. Yeah. I think so too in this one here. I mean, Philadelphia's third best, right? Of just in the last 10 games here on passing yards in general. Middle of the pack on the attempt side of things here. But guys, Coach Joey, what do you got in this one, man?
Fellas, I got for Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
I also want to look into his rushing attempts, if you would pull that up.
Rushing attempts. There we go. Last
All right,
10.
so we know that basically every quarterback left in these playoffs is very mobile. Jaden Daniels being one that definitely loves to take off when things don't look good in the play or it's nothing downfield. And I believe that today will be another day where he has double-digit rush attempts. I'm taking the over on his rushing attempts. I believe it's at 10 right now.
10.5.
It is 11 and a half is what I'm
Oh, it's
getting.
up to 11
and a half.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Okay, it was 10 earlier in the week when I took it. Okay. Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
11
No,
and a
earlier
half.
in the week it was nice. Yeah. Even on DK, it's 11 and a half.
To what Coach Joey just said, you always want to look at these props when they first come out because that's when you get the best number possible.
Correct.
So, and you want to shop around too. Just don't go to DraftKings, go to FanDuel, go to Bally's, go wherever you need to go. Tanner uses the one in Canada.
I go to Pinnacle and take a look there on the lines.
Pinnacle
Yeah.
You always want to get the best number you possibly can as early as possible. So
I use Pinnacle just for like gauge, right? Normally on game lines, just see kind of where one of the sharpest books are trending for that standpoint. I can't bet there because obviously I don't live in Canada and they're a Canadian only company, but they're a nice little just another resource to look at. And if you look here on my screen on the shared screen here, bottom right, those are all your bets right there that are currently showing available. So and this is Kansas, so these may not contain other guys as well, but those are kind of your lines there you can see as well. And it really is helpful because somebody might have it completely off. Like normally Underdog and Price Picks and Sleeper have completely different lines than what you see at the sports books themselves. So just something to notate as well as we look at this.
And with Underdog, before Coach Joey keeps going, you can ladder it. You can go up and get, you can times your money that much more. So Underdog, you can go, if you think he's going to rush it 18 times, you can go up to like 14 and a half, 15 and a half and take that and get more money for your buck. So.
Now, Philadelphia is a very strong defense, got a very good defensive line, also have a good secondary. What I have noticed is the 2 games that the Commanders in Philadelphia has played, he has rushed for under 10 attempts.
Yeah,
okay,
7
so
to 9 here.
7 in the first matchup and 9 in the second matchup. I do think today he takes a step up and increases those attempts against them. Because I'm leaning towards it going over and being a higher scoring game. So I do think that I think some plays do break down. Jalen Carter, gets in the backfield a little bit and he may have to run and escape. So I know he hasn't hit that threshold where he's gotten those double-digit rushing attempts against Philly, but today I'm leaning towards him having a good amount of rushing attempts in my personal opinion.
I like that. Alan, man, what do you want to see on Jaden Daniels player props?
Let's see. How about let's go touchdowns. I want to see that.
Passing touchdowns?
Sure, passing touchdowns.
So here's your passing touchdowns. Last 5.
Last 10. 1.5.
What's going on?
1.5. He's definitely gonna get that today.
And take the Dallas game completely out of it. He hardly played, so
correct.
Yeah. I'm saying, I think he's gonna get that today for sure.
Yeah. Hey, plus 122.
He's gonna need to make some play. Do want to give you? I know you mentioned injuries earlier, Tanner. There is an injury update for Philly that's big.
What you got?
Cam Jurgens, starting center, might be out today. He's questionable.
Ooh.
There is real fear from what I've seen that a lot of people don't think that Cam Jurgens will play today.
Hey,
that's huge. If you lose your starting center, that's you could see some fumbling issues on the snap. I want to say Jordan Mailata is the backup center, but I don't think so. That'll be intriguing to watch if Cam Jurgens does not play.
You're making me pull out my other deal, man. I got so many resources here. Podcasting has helped me tons. Let's look at it here. Philadelphia depth chart. Oh, go away, you stupid ads. seriously. All right. Center. According to the depth chart, it's Nick Gates. But you're right. They might shuffle things around and bring somebody else up. But I don't know who else.
They might move one of the guards over to center.
Maybe Trevor Keegan comes in to play right guard and then or left guard. Or no, you can't even do that.
So
Maybe
this was on NFL Network too. Is that there's real concern that Cam Jurgens will not play today.
Schefter just reported that he'll try to go through pregame warmups to see how he is, and he'll make a decision after that. So, which means that if he's out today, I wonder if that changes where Barkley runs the ball. Whether he runs it, he slides over and runs it through the tackles instead of trying to go up the middle, or if he tries to go outside a lot more. And that may affect the run game for Philly a little bit, and that could throw them off just enough for them to struggle. Not struggle.
You're probably going to run a lot to the left if that's the case, because you've got Mailata there on the left side. That's a really good run blocking left tackle. So that'll probably be the case.
Let's get to the Jalen Hurts prop here in a minute. Here, let's finish out Mr. Daniels here for his props here. But yeah, that's good news though. That's stuff we got to know about. I know one of the biggest ones we talked about is completions here. Last week it was 22.5. Obviously he hit 22, but his completions here have been pretty spot on for it all. He's hit above the 21.5 mark that it is now for completions both games. So it's almost I consider it like one of those like perfect lines in a way, because let's say he does run those 12, 13 times. Does he get those extra 2 or 3 passes in to get above this 21.5 point mark?
Vegas did their homework on Daniels. They did their homework on Daniels.
They did. So but yeah, we'll keep moving, guys. Anything else you want to see on Daniels before we move on?
Can we go to his interceptions real quick?
Heck yeah. Last 5. Last 5. There you go.
So he doesn't
no
really
playoff
make a lot of
interceptions
mistakes as of late. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes as of late. Philly does have a decent secondary.
Yes, they do.
They did intercept them twice the last time they played. And the first time they played, they had one on them as well.
Yeah.
I believe most sites have all quarterbacks at 0.5 interceptions, and you're just going to take the less or the more if you think they're not going to throw one or if you think they are going to throw one. But with this game, I'm thinking Jaden's probably going to most likely pass about 30 times or more. He may make a mistake. He may make a mistake.
I mean, last few times it's definitely been above 30, right? So you're at least looking at that range there. Interception-wise, it's interesting. So DK is not on this list, but DK has the 0.5. But they have the over 0.5 at -128. You can get the under at +103. So depending on how you're feeling there for this particular prop, it's kind of where you're looking at. But yeah, like the over -130 on BetMGM, sleeper underdog, Price Picks, of course, at the -137, -140. Caesars at -125. So yeah, that's an interesting prop. Kind of maybe dabble in if you really want. So
I know we looked at his carries. Let's look at his rushing yards, because that prop is high.
So
now he's gotten a lot of carries, but he's under that total in the last 2 games.
He was. I'm pretty sure it was 55.5 last week, Alan, right, for rushing yards, because it was just under. We needed 4 yards.
I believe it was.
So it's 54.5, because we needed 4 yards to get to the 55 mark towards the end, and we didn't get it.
So here's the thing with me on the head-to-head matchups with Philadelphia. Notice the first time he only ran for 18 yards. So Philly wasn't. I don't know if they were as defensively minded to say, let's slow him down again, because he got 81 the second time. I think this time you're looking at somewhere in between the 81 and 18, somewhere If it was at 45.5, I might go over. With it being over 50, 55, I might stay away from it. I might not bet it.
Let me check something real quick here. 7. Yeah, so the first time around, no, there was no Eckler the first time around. No, there was.
Yeah, Eckler was out the first time.
No, he played and he got concussed during the game against Philly. The
21, my bad.
Because I remember he had 8 catches, 8 catches. So
and then Eckler was back on the 14th. So no, it was the second time Eckler was out. That's why.
The second
11-14,
okay. Yep.
He only had the 7 yards. So that's why Daniels right here most likely for the 12-22 matchup had the 81 yards.
He didn't have the safety valve in Eckler that he could dump off to as much.
Yeah.
So that's why he went crazy. If you notice the last 2 games, 36 and 51, he's had Eckler as that extension of the run game. So I think we talked about it through the group chat. I think Eckler eats in the receiving game, which curtails Daniels running today. So there's a correlation between both.
Yeah. Hey, spot on, guys. Spot on. Good catch. Good catch there to really look at this line here. Something we might lean towards later on. So, all right, guys, let's keep it moving here. We're gonna move on. Let's move on to our guy, next quarterback here, Jalen Hurts. Okay, I'm gonna make sure we only have these 2 guys up here. So Jalen Hurts passing yards here, obviously, kind of insane for a team that's in the championship game, but 131, 128 the last 2. His big ones, came against he got hurt in Washington the last matchup, but he had 221 the first matchup here. Thoughts around this trend here? I think it's 191. I believe the line is 195.5 now. I mean, I'm on board for the under. Tell you that much.
Yeah. Say again, as we said with Eckler and Daniels, I'll go back to it again. Saquon's success correlates to Hurts' passing game. If Saquon's running the ball effectively, Jalen Hurts will not have to throw the ball a lot. And that goes hand in hand together. If Saquon is slowed down a little bit, I think Hurts is going to have to throw the ball a little bit more than he has in the last 2 weeks. So, again, this is a perfect in-game betting early with Hurts passing yards.
Yeah. Coach Joey, what do you got, man? Anything on this one? Or do you want to see another prop?
To the Jalen Hurts passing. Also, so Saquon, if he gets that run established, then of course, it's not going to be as many passing attempts made. So I'm leaning towards the under as well. A.J. Brown, you want to think who's going to make the big plays? Deep down, they're going to give a couple of shots probably to A.J. Will he come up with it? We'll see. But 195.5 with a very run-heavy Saquon team. Saquon's going to get at least 20 attempts. We didn't see a lot of Kenneth Gainwell last week, but it was just because snow. And I think they trusted Saquon's ball security a little bit more. But I think we see a sprinkle of Kenneth Gainwell here and there. And I really think they don't put that ball in the air too much today. So I would be leaning towards the under as well on the passing yards.
Gotcha. Alan, any thoughts on passing yards?
Yeah, I think it's going to go under too. I also think his rush yards are going to go under as well because, again, he is dealing with an injury.
That don't matter. That matters zero, Alan.
The thing is,
Alan,
though, he's been under pressure a lot the last couple of weeks. He was sacked quite a bit in that Rams game last week, and Washington has the same ability to do that. That they have great pass rushers. I know Daron Payne's out, but they still have Jonathan Allen, who's a premium pass rusher as well. They're going to get after him today. They're going to, like you said, you're going to see this team stuff the box with 7-8 guys in the box to try and stop Saquon Barkley. They're going to try to make Jalen Hurts beat him with his arm. So, I like the well. Now that I look at it,
it's 30 and a half.
38.5.
It's 30 and a half.
30 and a half. 30.
Yeah, it's 30 and a half.
You only got to get 31.
Yeah.
He could probably do that in one run if he gets out in a free spot. But
let's look at his rushing log.
If he doesn't get the opportunity to run it, then he probably won't.
There's your longest rush for Hurts.
The only thing I'll say to what Alan was saying is this. That 44-yard was in the first quarter, and it was a touchdown.
Oh, sorry. You're talking
but after that, I think he only ran for 27 yards the rest of the game. I think he only had 71 last week.
Yeah,
so
7 attempts.
Yeah, that knee did probably play a little bit of a factor, plus Saquon running like crazy. So I think if Saquon runs like crazy, I don't
if you look on the play on the safety, he just didn't look like he could get away from Gallimore at that point, and he just had nowhere to go. So if his mobility is slightly hurt at any point, Washington's defense might have a field day with him today.
I think he's going to just let it go. I think he's going to let it go. He's got 2 weeks. If they win today, he's got 2 weeks.
He can't be holding on to the ball. He can't be holding on to the ball like he did last week.
Correct.
I think that's going to be something that's going to be interesting to watch during game, and to our viewers that like the live betting, that's just something you might want to look at early on, just to see how he responds, how he decides if he wants to scramble or if he wants to get rid of the ball very quickly and he's tentative to scramble. Then you may want to go ahead and lock in that under live, when you notice his tendencies, maybe the first quarter. Take a look at that.
Plus, I think if Schefter or Rappaport tweet early on how he is in pregame warmups, I think that could lead you a little bit to what you want to do as well.
Yeah, I'm kind of refreshing stuff to see if there's any trends happening, but nothing big so far. Anything else you guys want to see on the Jalen Hurts props? No, we good. All right, we'll keep her moving. Let's go to the running backs here. One of our favorite plays here, of course, is Saquon Barkley, because why not? The way he's playing, like, he has to be one of our favorites here. We'll look at rushing yards right away here, just from a base standpoint. But guys, what do you want to see on Saquon Barkley? What props exactly are we looking at?
Let's look at his receptions.
Receptions. There you go.
So his receptions is a 2.5 right now. Vegas has it spot on because my personal opinion, if he's running the ball really well, he's not going to catch the ball out of the backfield. They're not going to look for him. If he's slowed down at all, I think they may look to dump off the ball to him and get him into open space. So I would be a little bit hesitant on the 2.5. I would be more open to the receiving yards, which I think is at 13.5.
13.
So I would be more open to that. He had 27 last week, which leads me to believe that Hurts, once he banged up his knee, started to look for him a little bit more and more in the snow. So
I think you're going to see more of Kenneth Gainwell being the receiving back. I think we've seen that the last couple weeks. I don't see Saquon getting as many options in the passing game unless of course Washington stuffs the run game today. Then you're going to probably see him get more opportunities in the passing game to get more into open space. But I don't think they're going to have a problem running the ball, and I don't think he's going to be involved in the passing game as much. So,
Tanner, look at Gainwell's rushing yard prop. It's only 8.5. That could be one run on a Saquon breather.
That's insane.
I love Gainwell's props today. I love him over. I think both of them hit.
Yeah, because he's like, his playing time isn't that bad. It's not. I don't think it's that bad for a backup at all.
And especially if they're in the 2-minute offense near the end of the half, Gainwell's more apt to be in the game than Barkley is.
Yeah.
So I think that Gainwell can hit the receiving prop and the rushing prop. Or if this is a blowout, he'll get the garbage time work at the end of the game, which will lead to that going over too. So
and that's your that would be your receiving yards at the 0.5, by the way, for anybody paying attention. So that's looking for that. What else in the Eagles backfield? Let's do that. The Eagles backfield. Do we want to look at, guys?
I think
let's go to that rush attempts again for Saquon. They're
Saquon rush attempts. Okay.
really high this week, 24.5, and I know he's been covering them like clockwork, but I really think Vegas got it right as far as the number that they selected, because the last couple of weeks it was like 21.5 or 22.5.
Yeah.
And I was saying, oh yeah, I know he's going to get over that, of course, but you just don't know the script of this game and how it may play out. And that 24.5 is something that's kind of scaring me this week for some reason.
Well, Coach, it opened at 20.5 right away. It was 20.5, and it got bet up. As the talk started, Saquon's going to run the ball a ton. He's going to get all this work. So it shot up like that. It went from 20.5 to 24.5 by Monday midday. And I was like, no, I'm off of it.
I was going to say I'm actually going under, because I think Washington's going to try to control the clock and then give Philly less opportunities on offense. So I think that the attempts will go under because of it.
Well, what do you have? He had 30 against Washington last time in that high-scoring game. He had 26. So he's going to get the ball 25 times on the ground.
Washington the last few weeks has been all about clock management, or at least from what I've seen of them, that they've been all about clock management. Keep the other offense off the field. Extended drives, extended length. I believe there was one drive they had last week against Detroit that was like a 10-minute drive.
Yep.
That ate up a lot of clock. So they're all about getting extended drives, get a lead, keep that other offense off, force turnovers, whatnot. It's the same thing that Dan Quinn did here. So it doesn't surprise me one bit.
Yeah, I think another one to look at here is his rushing receiving yards combo that you can get 140.5. I like the over in this one. Kind of like what Scott said, right? If they contain him running game wise, I think he's still going to get close to the 80-yard mark. And then you add in on top of that the receiving yards he should be getting. If they do try to contain him, right? Jalen Hurts is probably going to jump it off. I like the over in the 140.5 range. But I think the most interesting prop I found was the touchdown bet. And that's just it right here. Washington +2. Washington not +2, but 2 each of the last 2 games against Washington this year. I mean, what we can't say he doesn't get one. Anytime one?
Oh, he's gonna get one.
I would give him anytime.
He's gonna get one. You're gonna get one. Yeah.
Definitely.
But I think the anytime TD for him is like -330 or something. So you can't really play that. You could, but you're not going to make much money. So you almost, if you think he's going to score a touchdown, you almost have to bet the double touchdown.
Yeah, because you're looking at anytime TD at -220, -250, -240, -320 on Caesars.
Yeah.
So they're kind of the same boat that I was looking at earlier. It wasn't that high when I made my bet around Wednesday, I think it was, or Tuesday. Tuesday, because we talked about it Rec Room Weekly. So, but that was one of my favorite props there going in place. I'm like, hey, if you score 2 both times against the team, surely you're going to get 1, right? The third time around. So, but that's kind of where we're at. Anything else on the Eagles backfield, guys, we want to take a look at?
Yeah, another interesting thing I noticed last week with the Jalen Hurts injury is they only tried to attempt the tush push one time, I believe. And I believe they got called for a flag on it. And it backed them up 5 yards. So if they get on the goal line, I think that they may lean on Saquon trying to punch it in rather than attempting the tush push, especially if that center does not play as well. That'll play a part in it too. So
brotherly shove.
Yeah, I do think that Saquon definitely is going to be a lock for that rushing touchdown. And I would be very skeptical to place a bet on Jalen Hurts getting a rushing touchdown today.
One last thing on Saquon. His longest rush.
There you go.
With
78 last week. 78 last week. It's 26.5 this week.
And
Man, the
both
numbers against
games
my Rams are disgusting.
in both games against Washington, he had a 39 yarder or above, and the longest is 26. I might put a little pizza money on that over to hit, based on the history of
what it takes one hole and the guy's gone, right? Like,
basically,
truly, like if they can just open it up, go towards Lance Johnson, go towards that right side, as long as you don't pull who was it, Alan Malata, right? Jordan Malata. As long as they don't pull him, you pop between those two guys and call yourselves a day, you know.
Yep. So I might put a little pizza money on that over 26.5.
All right. Anything else? Eagles backfield. We good? All right. Well, let's talk Commanders backfield, guys. I mean, I know one of our favorite bets here in the Lock It In crew here is the Austin Eckler receiving yards. 25.5, 41 last week, 26 this week.
He's going
26 the week before. Yeah, like
he's going over this simply because I don't know if Brian Robinson is going to have success running the ball. He did a little last week. I don't know if he's going to this week. If he doesn't, then Eckler becomes the extension of the running game with these short dump-off passes. So I like Eckler over 25.5. That's not a lot of receiving yards for him to get.
All right.
So
what else we want to see?
Let's go to Austin Eckler's rush attempts. I believe it's at 5.5.
5.5. Over.
Yeah, so the last 2 weeks he greened it. It's kind of interesting with this Washington backfield because you got a mobile quarterback who runs it, who gets a lot of rush attempts. Then you got Brian Robinson Jr. Then you got Austin Eckler, and then you may see Gonzalez or the other young man back there maybe one or two times. But I'm thinking the way that the playoffs are going right now with what Washington has done in these last two games, that we see a lot more of Austin Eckler in this backfield, rushing and receiving as well. So I'm liking almost every prop Austin Eckler has today. The rushing attempts more, I'm leaning towards that he'll get 6 carries at least. Yeah. And then, of course, what we just talked about with the receiver yards, I'm leaning towards him definitely covering that.
3.5.
Can we also take a look at his targets?
Yep.
Luckily, the last time he played against Philly, he had 9 targets.
Yeah. Last time was 9, yep. And he had 4 and 4 the last 2 weeks.
So it's 4 targets today is the number. He's the secure. When I think of the hot route, it's going to be Austin Eckler or Zach Ertz to me for Washington. So I think that he probably will see at least that 4. I think he maybe get to 5 as well on that targets for sure.
And again, my thing has been correlation. If Austin Eckler gets 9 targets against Philly today, Jaden Daniels' attempts is 32.5. That's going way over because you got McLaurin, Ertz, Yami Brown, and Eckler in the game for Washington. He's gonna throw 40 times today, and especially if they're down and chasing points, he's gonna throw all the time. So again, if Coach Joey is right, which I think he is, Daniels is going over, Eckler's going over, everybody's going over. So
yeah, I like that. What else we want to see in the Commanders' backfield, guys?
Can we go to Brian Robinson real quick?
Yeah,
Brian Robinson. Yeah, what do you want?
I think his rushing attempts is 9.5.
9.5. Yep.
I'm scared of that one today, guys.
Yeah.
For what we just talked about, I think we might see a little bit more of Austin Eckler. You got Jalen Carter in the middle of that Philadelphia Eagles defense stuffing it up. Really, Brian Robinson is more of a, third and 1 type running back. Get it to him,
short yardage.
Get that first down. But we don't know how many situations they may be in like that. So I don't think that he covers and gets 10 rushing attempts today. I would stay away from that. I know he has the last 2 weeks, but I think that Detroit game, they got up a little bit bigger, and in the fourth quarter, they started running Brian a lot, and that's why he kind of got that 15. But today against Philly, I'm not sure if the script will be the same. So that's one I'm just kind of staying away from.
So, Coach Joey, let me ask you something. His rushing attempts 9.5. I'll ask everybody this. Would you say he has to have at least half of those by end of the first quarter for him to have a shot at hitting that? If he's got
I would say he would have to have
Yeah.
at least 3 or 4 rushing attempts for me to feel confident.
Okay.
I would start really getting nervous if he didn't.
Okay.
The last 2 games against Philly, 10 carries for 24, 16 for 63, and a touchdown for Brian Robinson.
Yep.
I'd almost lean toward he's going to have the 10 more than the 16 today.
I mean, that's an over, right?
That's an
If he
over.
goes
Yes.
just to that 10 mark, like that's the over. And you
But
got to remember
again-
too. You remember the second game there was no Eckler.
Right. And that
Yep.
And he
well,
went that
Eckler
10.
started and then got hurt. So
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Dan Quinn's gonna. I agree with Coach Joe. I think Dan Quinn's gonna lean on Eckler a little bit more. The veteran, the veteran presence. Plus, I think game script is going to be huge in this game for what they do. So,
What else we want to see, guys, for rush for the Commanders' backfield?
that's it. There's really nobody else.
Was
I mean,
Eckler anytime touchdown? Is that touchdowns? on
Eckler TD anytime 0.5, of course, but
Plus
he's
191.
it's a positive 295 right now. DK looks like FanDuel 330, so you can get good
I
odds.
think,
if you
I think he's going to score today. I think he's going to score today.
Yeah, I might take a shot on that. Almost
Drop
3 to 1.
Yeah, drop a little on that.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. All right, we good on the backfield?
Yeah.
All right, let's move on, guys. Let's move on to the Eagles. We'll talk the Eagles receiving squad. So that includes the tight ends and receivers. So both grouped together here. What do we want to see, man? What do we want to see? What's our first line here? Because I got one that everybody
Dallas
probably
Goedert.
Go Dallas Goedert first, and Devonta would be next.
So here's your receiving yards. His line's right now 38.5.
I like the over on that. I think if Jalen Hurts is going to have any success in the passing game today, he's going to go to Dallas Goedert because that's going to be his hot read on the. That's going to be his hot read downfield. Is going to be Dallas Goedert because Goddard has been kind of his security. Goddard has been kind of his security blanket in tight spots lately, and I feel like if AJ Brown struggles, you're gonna be finding 86 a lot more than you will anybody else.
Alan, to your point, here's what I'm going to say. If he takes a shot deep to A.J. Brown and connects, Hurts has shown a tendency this year to just pepper A.J. Brown with targets. And who is that going to come at the expense of? Either Smith or Goddard. So I would be a little shaky on playing the Goddard because, again, as Coach Joey said, that might be a good live game in betting type of situation because I think, again, if A.J. Brown connects with Hurts, then Hurts is just going to have eyes for A.J. Brown most of the game.
Yeah.
So I'd be a little leery of going toward the Goddard. Everybody said he's going to go over. I would be a little leery based on what A.J. Brown does early.
I'm banking on Goddard going over because AJ Brown's 68.5 receiving yards.
Right.
And I, quite frankly, I have an under already set in for him because I don't think AJ Brown's going over that mark. He hasn't. Look what these numbers are. I mean, we can even look at his receptions. Like receptions 3, 1, and 2. His targets aren't even there. Like
yeah, they're not even
Hurts.
Correct.
Hurts is not throwing the ball, guys. He's not throwing the ball here. Like AJ Brown for me is on the under.
I think the two
it's Goddard and Devontae in the backfield.
The two guys that could eat in this game is Goddard and Devonta Smith in the receiving area. Because I think Devonta Smith
Smith.
Yeah, Devonta Smith's that short area guy for them that can one catch early, and that's Devonta Smith gets off, and he has a great game. But if you don't get him early, that's the whole thing. His receiving prop is 48. Receptions, I'm not really keen on, but the yards, I could see him going over that. He's done it
48 and a half receiving yards. Yeah.
Yeah, he's done it 4 of the last 5 games. So I could see him going over on that.
Well, what do you like, Coach Joey? What do you got man, in the receiving game for the Eagles?
So when it comes to the receiving game right now with the Eagles, it's just so many question marks for me.
That's right. Yeah.
It's just so many question marks for me. And that's got me kind of susceptible to leaning towards staying away from quite a bit of these props and not even placing bets. With the AJ Brown receiving yards and everything, if he gets a big play, he has a chance to get it. But it's just something that
Philly has been so inconsistent in the passing game the last few weeks. Like this is the same thing we saw from them at the end of the year last year. They were very inconsistent in the passing game while they didn't have Saquon at the time, so their rushing game was also inconsistent. But their offense was too inconsistent. The play calling was kind of subpar at that point from Sirianni. But the fact that they have Saquon is probably the reason that they're in the NFC Championship game right now. Is because of Saquon Barkley. So I'm kind of with Joey. I don't like any of those receiving props for Philly today.
Yeah, if Lattimore's on his game today, AJ Brown's out, totally out.
Oh yeah,
he's not going to get thrown to. So that's the whole key.
Let's switch.
But
let's switch it up
more Smith than I would Brown today.
Okay, let's switch it up. Let's talk Commanders here. I know one of the bets here is McLaurin receiving yards, but if you look at what he did against Philly the last 2 times, well, they know where it's going. Majority of the time, and I don't like this 61.5 here.
I really don't like any receiving prop today, honestly, because both secondaries have played very well.
Here's a question: do we think De'Ami Brown's success lately will free McLaurin up just a little?
No, I still think it's the other way around. I think De'Ami Brown is going to out here and get another spot right here on this receiving yards at 39.5. He's going over, and if not, he's going to go over on his receptions at 3.5. I think this guy is going to be a target.
I'll tell you the name to keep an eye on today. It's the former Philadelphia Eagle, Olamide Zaccheaus.
Oh, Zaccheaus. Okay.
The former Philadelphia Eagle, Olamide Zaccheaus. Is going to have I think is going to what is he?
His reception 22.5.
22.5. Yeah.
2.5.
I like the over on a lot of that stuff because I think he's going to get a lot of looks today against his former team. He had five catches against the Eagles last time he faced them.
Speaking of former Eagles, can we check out Zach Ertz?
Mm-hmm.
That's where I thought you were going, Alan. Zach Ertz.
Ertz and Zaccheaus too.
When we were talking about security blankets for Jaden Daniels, we were talking about Austin Eckler and then Zach Ertz as well. So for receptions, 3.5 for Zach Ertz, I'm feeling confident that he gets 4 receptions. Can we look at his targets real quick?
Targets, yep. It's 5.
5 targets. In a championship game, you're going to want to lean towards some guys that you feel like have for sure hands. So I think that Zach Ertz may also achieve that the over on the targets, in my opinion.
Here's his receiving yards here, too, 33.5. Probably won't. I don't know if I like that necessarily, but I like your receptions and targets prop for sure.
Sorry, I just saw a video. There's a video of Eagles and Commanders fans tailgating together, and they're all screaming, "Dallas sucks." I was like, at least they can agree on something.
Hey, Tanner, would you actually, all of you guys, would you do this bet? De'Ami Brown had the most receiving yards in the game at plus 1,000.
I'll throw a little pizza money on that.
Ooh.
I might.
It's a nice payout, yeah.
It's awful.
Hey, can we also look at Zach Ertz touchdowns? So
got
when they
one.
get in that
Pretty-
red zone,
He's
he
getting
has
in the
one
end zone
against-
today.
60% hit. 60% hit on this one.
He's
yeah.
getting in the end
So
zone.
first time they played him, he caught one against them. He didn't catch one in the second game. That was the game that I think Jaden Daniels threw for 5 touchdowns. So I think everybody else caught a touchdown for Zach Ertz that game. But when they get in that red zone, he tends to get some targets. So that anytime
does.
touchdown for Zach Ertz, that may be something that
His production the latter half of the season into the playoffs has gone up.
yeah, it's
They
increased.
found more ways to utilize him in this late in the season, which is something that you should do because a tight end is a quarterback's best friend. In reality, a tight end is. I mean, just ask Tanner; he knows that very well. A tight end is a quarterback's best friend. So you get in these third down, goal to go situations, he's going to be looking for Zach Ertz.
Yeah, so I heard in a radio show this week that Washington, if they pass inside the 10-yard line, Daniel's first look in Kingsbury's offense is to Zach Ertz. And then if Zach Ertz is not there, McLaurin's the second look, and Zacchaeus is the third look when he's in the game. So that tells me that he's looking for Ertz inside the 10-yard line anytime he throws the ball. So if Ertz is open, he's getting the ball. So that Ertz anytime touchdowns at 310 at DraftKings, I would throw some pizza money on that. I think he gets in the end zone today.
I think so as well.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all. What do we got? Anything else, guys? Receiving ranks for the Commanders.
We haven't looked at Diami Brown yet, so let's take a look at him.
Pop him up. Yeah. Where we at? There he is. So receptions right here. His line's 3.5, 5 and 6 last time. Receiving yards 89, 98 on a 39.5.
He's the hot hand right now. He's the hot hand.
He is.
Yeah.
As long as reception right there too. 18.5 is as long as reception still on multiple books. 19.
I like that longest reception over. I think they're going to take a deep shot at him today.
I kind of like Diami Brown for a lot of overs today.
Yeah, I do too.
Going under, I think Diami Brown is going to be the beneficiary of that. And at plus 1,000, most receiving yards in the game, why not take a shot at him?
I agree.
Yeah, and when we covered the injuries in the secondary for the Eagles earlier. Quinyon Mitchell, he exited the game last week. I believe he's going to play today. Slay was a little slowed down.
Yep.
But Isaiah Rodgers came in. He played some decent football last week. But some of the Rams players did catch some big time catches on some of those Eagles secondary players. So the guys who are going to be playing in the slot, Diami Brown and Zacchaeus, I do think they have some opportunities to make some plays today.
Yeah.
I'm with it.
And also remember, Cooper DeJean is going to be pulling double duty today. He's not only going to be playing in the secondary, but he's also going to be the kick and punt returner. So he's going to be pulling double duty with Britton Covey out for the rest of the year. So,
all right, guys. Anything else we want to see?
No, I think we covered it.
All right, guys. You know what time? Yeah, go ahead.
We'll go to the field goal kickers.
Let me see if it'll let me kicking field goals. Jake Elliott.
not a lot of that lately.
Jake
Yeah,
Elliott.
it doesn't show anything when I do it.
All right, so
Jake Elliott's been terrible.
Oh, there we go. You got to show up.
real quick, the last 5 weeks, Elliott has kicked at least 2 field goals.
Yep. Yeah, he's 3-3.
had-
It finally showed up here for it, but yeah, he's hit.
So he's at
65.
1.5 field goals made today, and I'm liking it.
Yep.
I'm liking it.
I like the.
It's actually a Red Devil is paying a little extra. So
Yeah.
I definitely feel like there'll be some field goals taken in this game. Even though, Washington likes to roll the dice and everything, I do think some field goals will be taken in this game. I think Jake Elliott is money for 2 of them. Seeing as he has been very hot late. Well, he's missed some, but they've been taking a lot of field goal attempts when they have to take the 3. Instead of
I like
the
the PATs as well today. It's only 2.5. Well, it's actually I got it 1.5 on Prize Picks just a minute ago. So Let me double check.
The one
here.
thing with Elliott, I will say, is that
2.5. Yeah, I think
they
3. Yeah, they get in there.
Yeah, they do not. And anything outside like 45 yards, they don't even try. So Elliott's length of field goal is not as long as other kickers. Again, if they get in and Washington stops them inside like the 25-yard line, then Elliott's pretty automatic from that range. So,
yeah, anything above 50, he has struggled with this year.
Yeah,
I believe he's only hit less. I think he's hit like less than half of his 50-yard field goals this year.
Right. So,
yeah, Zane's kind of, no, I don't want to say in a similar boat there with field goals, but like he might be today. But you're talking about also PATs here. Like, I mean, if you feel good,
Zane Gonzalez, if you remember back, like Zane Gonzalez, if you remember back like 5 years ago, he was notoriously hit on because he missed so many, especially in big game situations. He missed so many field goals. He's gotten better, but I would be cautious with Zane Gonzalez because he has been known to miss some big kicks lately. So.
And then also with the Commanders, they like to roll dice on 4th down and not take the 3.
They do.
If it's close,
certainly
if it's 4th and goal, or if it's it's 4th and 2, and instead of taking a field goal, they'll roll the dice and try to convert for the 1st down and try to get that touchdown. So if we're looking for Zane Gonzalez, I would stay away from him, or I would take the under the field goal, kicking field goals. But with Jake Elliott, I would take the over, in my opinion.
Yep.
I like it. All right, guys. It's that time. Time to lock it in. This is hey, we're gonna put one. We're gonna go 3 to 6 bets. All right, just because it's fun to do the player props here in the game lines. 3 to 6 bets that you're locking in yourself and very confident in. This is for the viewers. It's for them to get some more bets in. And I mean, what can I say? This is your guarantee, right? These are your guaranteed bets. 3 to 6 bets. Let's see what you got. Scott, I'll let you start, man.
So Sam Cosme is out on the Washington offensive line today. He would have lined up right in front of Jalen Carter. On DraftKings, Jalen Carter's sacks is 0.25. I'm going over that. I think Jalen Carter gets a sack today against Jaden Daniels. That's one. The second one, these are not so-called sexy props. Jeremy Chin. Payne is out today, so I think Chin is going to be the guy that's around the line of scrimmage and gets tackles today. His prop line is 6.5. I'm going over that as well. I think he gets 8 or 9 tackles today. We talked about Kenneth Gainwell, 8.5 rushing yards. That could be 1 carry against Washington today. So I'm going over 8.5. Austin Eckler, over 25.5 receiving yards. That seems like you're stealing money from them. And the last prop I'll give you is shortest touchdown over 1.5 yards. That's at plus 124 on DraftKings. I'm going over that, which means the shortest touchdown in the game will be 2 yards to me. So those are my prop bets for this game.
Interesting. All right. I like it. I like it there. Alan, go ahead and what you got?
I like Saquon anytime touchdown. I think he's going to get in the end zone at least once, maybe twice today. I like Zach Ertz over on receptions. I think he's going to get a lot of targets for Washington on offense today. I like Washington +6. I think they're going to keep the game close. It's going to be probably a 3-point contest. And then the last one, let's see. I'll go Olamide Zaccheaus over on receptions. Just because.
Okay. I like it. Coach Joey, what you got?
All right, fellas. This is what I got. That Kenneth Gainwell, 0.5 receiving yards. I'm going over. I think he catches 1 ball. Hey, you got to get 1 yard. I'm looking forward to that one. I think that's a gimme pick that I think is going to eventually come out on 3rd down. He'll be on the field sometimes to be that 3rd down back, and I think he does catch a reception. Zach Ertz, targets. I'm going over on that one. Austin Eckler, I just feel like he's going to be the running back of choice to be in the backfield the majority of the time. I think he gets about maybe 50% or so, at least 50% of the snaps. So I'm going over 5.5 rushing attempts. I'm going over on that one. And then I'm also going to go over on his receiving targets as well for Austin Eckler. And then Jake Elliott, 1.5 field goals made. I'm going to go over on that one as well, guys.
Tanner, can I give you one more before you go?
Yep. What you got?
Austin Eckler, Saquon Barkley, combined 41.5 receiving yards. I'm going over that. I think Eckler could be the one that gets most of that heavy lifting for that. So,
Gotcha. Now I won't forget, guys, to actually put my own bets in this time because I haven't put your bets in. So I won't forget this time. But let's see here. I got some plays here that I like here that I've already dealt with. Hey, you guys already took a lot of mine already, but we're gonna go Jalen Hurts under the 193.5 passing yards on that. I thought you were going to steal this one, Scott, when you said Eckler Saquon, but Eckler Saquon over 191.5 rushing plus receiving combo yards for that one there. I like that one a lot. So yeah, I want to get one that you guys haven't stolen yet for that. Oh, AJ Brown under 7 targets, receiving targets. And then also AJ Brown under his 63.5 receiving yards. So those are kind of what we like here, guys. That is what we got here in this one here. That is 19 bets for you already just in the first game. So make sure you guys go lock that in as we move into the next game here. Now,
oh, that's the show, right? There's no other game. That's it. We're done.
that's it, guys. Can't wait for the Super Bowl show next week. So, no, we got another game out here. I don't know if you guys. We got Los Angeles Rams below us. Kansas City Chiefs. We got a Dallas Cowboys fan who probably needs a drink after that game or a discussion that we just had.
I'm gonna need a drink during the game.
Yeah. Just hoping for that meteor, man. No, 5:30 p.m. Central, 6:30 Eastern here tonight. Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs coming at it. -1.5 favorites right now for the Chiefs. 48.5, 49 over under. -0.5 on the first half bets. 24.5 on your over under for first half as well here. Guys, game line here. What do we like in the game line situation? Totals, spreads, money lines. What are we thinking here? Coach Joey, I'll let you take it away.
Oh, okay. So, game line, I do think that it doesn't start off as fast as people may think it may. I think it may be a defensive battle first quarter, for sure, in my opinion. The Bills really capitalized last week off of Baltimore's mistakes and turnovers, but besides that, they really didn't move the ball too effectively. The Chiefs, under Steve Spagnuolo, in my opinion, have a very good defense. He dials the plays up. He likes to blitz a lot sometimes. So I think they're going to throw different looks at Josh Allen. So for the first half, what's the over?
Over under is over is 48.5 is your best line. The under is 49 is your best line.
I'm leaning towards this game being under, in my opinion.
Okay. I don't mind it. Scott, what you got, man?
Buffalo has not won a road playoff game since 1992. As we've said time and time again on the LTS show, Buffalo Bills always win in the regular season and can't figure out how to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. I see the same narrative going here. I just think that the Chiefs are at home. They're in the playoffs. They know they've been in this position time and time again. Mahomes just will do enough, and with Kelsey, with Worthy, and with Kareem Hunt to get the job done. I look at it being like a 24-17 type of game, but I think the Chiefs win the game. So I'm going the Chiefs, and I'm going the under in this.
Okay. Alan, what do you got, man?
I like the under too. The problem I have with this, though, is that we've seen this narrative in the NFL throughout history. Any team that has gotten close to three-peating has had one setback or another this close to the Super Bowl. I mean, look at it. NFC Championship game, 1990. Joe Montana gets hurt against, what was it, the Minnesota Vikings? Or was it the Giants? Giants.
Yeah.
Joe Montana gets hurt against the New York Giants. Giants end up winning that game, go on to win the Super Bowl. Dallas Cowboys, in the first year with Barry Switzer. Troy Aikman throws 3 interceptions against the 49ers. They end up losing that game. Niners go on to win the Super Bowl. This trend that we're seeing. I have a good feeling that Kansas City might break that trend, but I'm very cautious to bet on this game because of the historical trend. I like the under at halftime for sure. I think both teams are going to be slow out of the gate. And if that's the case, I think it favors Buffalo, actually. Because I feel like if Buffalo gets any kind of momentum, I think they have the ability to go down and score. Although I do it is hard to score, as Tanner will say time and time again, it is hard to score in that Steve Spagnuolo defense. So I'm very cautious about this game. I think more so will be live betting this game personally because of the fear of there are things that are out of control of certain people that could potentially happen because fate and the football gods may not want Kansas City to 3-peat. Who knows? But I do like the first half under total.
Yeah, weather's gonna be nice. It's gonna be upper 20s, light wind, like nothing, super cold or anything. So stadium's gonna be packed. Of course, as it always is. There in Arrowhead.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Patriots too, attempting the 3-peat and then losing to Jake Plummer in the Broncos.
Mute him. Would you mute him, Tanner?
Jake the Snake. Look, I actually like the 1.5 because I think if the Chiefs win, it's at least by 3 in that matter. So if I'm, a betting guy, which I'm also a fan, but I'm gonna take the emotion out of the fan, and we're gonna look at here more of a Lions here. Quite frankly, there's no reason to go against the Chiefs at the moment, so I like the -1.5. I like them winning by at least 3 in that matter. I like the over in this game, 48.5, because I think this thing goes to overtime, like it always seems to do in the AFC Championship game with Buffalo. I don't feel like this game's be any different than what we've seen the last 2, 3, 4 out of 4 years or whatever. So with Buffalo here, I do like the under at halftime though. At 24.5, I think they get to that 21 mark total. I think it is. I really do think it's a slow start. I think both teams are, in a way, evenly matched, despite Buffalo having a little bit more banged up of a roster. Chiefs are, I don't think they're really missing anybody I could think of outside of Mecole, but I mean, take that with what you may in that instance. So Jalen Watson's back, and he looks phenomenal there already. I don't see a lot of scoring early, but I do see some ball movement. I see long drives that probably result in field goals.
Mecole's still on IR. Mecole's still on
IR.
He ain't coming back. Randy Reed's like, we're not activating him. He missed his 21-day window. So
yeah, no Taylor Rapp, by the way, and Christian Bedford is questionable for Buffalo.
Well, that's the thing. That's why I said in the chat yesterday, Xavier Worthy. Hello, Xavier Worthy, because Buffalo's banged up. Plus, we haven't seen Keon Coleman in the playoffs. We haven't seen Amari Cooper in the playoffs. Other than where's he going with the ball?
You also Chiefs were missing 5 starters, and the Bills were missing 4 starters the first time around back in November. Jets girl for life mentioned, Josh Allen hasn't thrown an interception in 4 weeks. Mahomes hasn't thrown an interception since the Bills game. So that's been, more than 4 weeks. So like both quarterbacks are playing well. They're playing they're not playing turnover ball.
That Buffalo didn't need those guys last week either because they had so many the Ravens turned the ball over so much.
Oh yeah.
Time.
I mean,
there was really
Lamar
no need.
stealing the ball, like you didn't need it. So
Again, the narrative of why is Lamar not running the ball in the playoffs?
Yeah, play your game. I think both teams are really good about playing their style ball that they need to. And that's why this game, I think, is going to go the over. So from a game line standpoint,
this will be the game of the year. This will be the game of the year. For sure.
I don't know.
Hands down.
Let's see.
We got
there's a lot of game of the year.
I really think this game is going to end up being whoever wins this game wins the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, no, NFC is not beating anybody in the Chiefs or the AFC side. So AFC rules on this one.
That statement I would agree with. The game of the year, I would not. Washington's played some great games. Philly's played some great. There's been
there's some good games, but yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see here. But now it's time for our favorite part that we just got done with here. Breaking down by position, we'll bring them by team. We'll look at some props here, see what we like, and we'll get to your locks afterwards here. But let's get back into it, guys. Here, quarterbacks for this game here.
Josh Allen's the first guy.
Let's pop it in. Let's pop in Josh Allen here. We got oops, it's my bad. I clicked on it. Passing yards 233.5 right off the bat here. Of course, that clicks in, but what do we want to see Josh Allen player props wise?
Rush yards first, I would say.
Yes, sir.
There you go. 46 and 20 is lines at 50.5 right now.
Last time he played Kansas City, 72. That could go over again.
So I think the narrative with Josh Allen for a couple of years now has been he's got to be Superman for them to win games. I think that narrative comes into play today because I think you got Keon Coleman, who's a rookie. You didn't see him last week, caught one ball, I think, or you didn't catch anything. Amari Cooper's, since the trade's been non-existent, basically.
Yeah.
It's basically Khalil Shakir, Dalton Kincaid, and I think the Chiefs are going to do a good job on Cook today, more so than they did last time.
I don't know. Cook usually cooks us, so that's why I don't know. I'm a little hesitant. I mean, we're not there yet, but like from just a Josh Allen passing standpoint.
Kincaid's been very quiet for most of the year. I think today he gets some work against the Chiefs, who haven't been great against tight ends, have been good to average, but not great. I think Josh Allen's going to have to be Superman today. And when that happens, I think he tends to press a little bit, and I think you're going to see a turnover from Josh Allen. So
look at his three highest rushing props on there: Kansas City, the Rams, which that was a high scoring game, and Detroit.
There you go.
Right.
So if you think about it, if it's one of those games where it's a back and forth, both teams are going to score. That prop's definitely going over because, like you said, Scott, Josh Allen is going to have to be Superman to keep up with Patrick Mahomes.
Exactly, because I think Mahomes is going to be able to get some stuff against this weaker Bills secondary because they're missing a couple of pieces, probably one for sure, maybe a couple. So I think Josh Allen's going to have to keep up with Mahomes and score in the second half, and that might lead to a costly turnover somewhere in a fumble or whatever it may be.
Well, if you're looking at a rushing yard standpoint, right, on the 50.5 here, this is an extending drives thing, right? Third downs, getting the first down, like this is extending the drive, keeping Mahomes off the field, right? In the end, that's what you do with the third down, keep the drive alive. Long drives will win you games. And so that's why I think if you're looking at a standpoint for rushing yards, that's your justification in the end. It's get those third downs, keep the drive alive, keep extending, not necessarily going out to score.
Patrick Mahomes on the bench.
Yeah.
Tanner, who's the spy guy for Kansas City? Is there anybody?
You'll probably see Nick Bolton. You'll probably see a little bit of Chanel, but mainly Chamari Connor will probably be your guy.
Okay. So
by the way, Ian Rappaport just reported Cam Jurgens is active today.
Okay.
That's big.
I think Josh Allen is going to be right around this Russian prop for him. It's 50 and a half.
Yeah. 50 and
I
a
would
half.
I would tend to think he gets 52 or 53 somewhere in there.
His rushing attempts is 9.5. He hit that last week by one.
I would go over that. I would go over that. Yeah.
He's definitely going to get that.
Yeah.
Okay. What else we want to see from a quarterback perspective, Mahomes or Allen?
Can we look at Josh Allen's passing touchdown prop?
Passing touchdown. There you go.
So like we were talking about earlier, these receivers for the Bills, I mean, they've been MIA besides Shakir. You know, Shakir's like the security blanket, the guy that he's gonna do his part. But like was stated previously, Amari and Keon Coleman, those guys aren't really involved in the offense like that. We do see a little Todd Johnson a little bit out of the backfield. He may catch a pass here or there. But 1.5 passing touchdowns for Josh Allen today. I'm thinking that's going to be under. I think if he does get in that end zone, it'll be with his legs. He may get maybe one passing touchdown, but I would be skeptical to place the over for 2 touchdowns with him getting it done with his arm today against that Chiefs defense.
Okay.
I would agree.
What else you guys want to see?
Let's go to Mahomes rushing attempts.
Yeah, he didn't have a rushing attempt against the Bills. So
it's at 4.5 today. I think he goes
4.5.
over. Yeah, I think he goes over. I think.
I mean, Bills contained him really well last time. I mean, obviously that 0 mark, like that was huge.
The reason I think he goes over is very simple. Just in case people don't know, QB kneels count as rush attempts. So if they're ahead and he kneels twice at the end of the game, all he needs to do is rush 3 times in the game. And I think he does it. I think
it's probably more than 0 this time around. I think he has to.
He's going to be close. He's either going to be 4 or 5. So that half kicker is going to either get you or help you.
I mean, think about it too. If we remember from the Texans game, Marquise Brown 1 target in the beginning of the game off that big return, right? And missed.
Yep.
Obviously bad pass. DeAndre Hopkins 1 target. It was the Xavier Worthy, Travis Kelce, Noah Gray show, right? In the end. So like if he's not confident enough and they have the zone coverage, wherever they got to go, he steps up and he does go. And the O-line allows him to do that. But he honestly did not look comfortable against that line. And we all know the Bills defensive line is not no pushovers either. So I could see the over 4.5 in that one. I think he has to.
Is Tooney staying where he was in the Houston game, or is he?
Yeah. So he's still playing left tackle. Yep.
Okay. All right. Okay.
What else we want to see, guys?
What is Mahomes rushing yards?
Mahomes rushing yards here. It's 22.5 is the line.
He wasn't he at like 21 or 22, and then the kneels knocked back down to 14 in that game. Yeah. Something like that. Because when I looked at the box score, I saw it was at like 22 rush yards, and I was like, oh, he's going to hit his prop. And then I looked again at the end of the game, and he went back down to 14. I was like,
his rush yards against the Bills or Houston? Houston, yeah, he was going to
rush yards too, right?
Yeah, the last game.
Sacks count as rush yards.
Yeah.
It just seems like when the postseason, when it's the postseason and Mahomes is involved, I think he just tends to make a couple of more extra plays with his feet sometimes.
He does.
So,
especially in a big game like this. In a big game like this, you see him take off more often than not.
I think the one thing with Mahomes is he has eyes for Kelce in the playoffs. And if Kelsey's not open, he's more apt to take off and try to make a play running the ball.
Well, that was interesting last week is that he had some lanes where normally he would run, but instead his eyes were downfield, which it hasn't been for quite a while, honestly. He just takes a sack or he just gets out for a couple yards, but he was looking downfield for guys, and the falling touchdown, of course, ended up being one of the instances. But yeah, he hasn't seemed to really break open the lanes like he normally would in past years. Yeah.
And he's totally healthy. There's no ankle problem or anything.
No, it's ankle, no ankle, whatever. Like
whatever. Fine. Yeah, he's playing no matter what. But
I think something to look at here. I think pass attempts is 36.5. I thought it was high until I saw this trend, right? And I was like, oh. I mean, I get Pacheco's back, and we'll save Pacheco stuff for when we get to the running back squad
Running
here.
back,
But
yeah.
Kareem Hunt's also there. I get that point too, but you barely tossed the ball, and it wasn't even part of the game plan. You barely threw the ball downfield. You hit one of your top two guys one time each. Then you have Worthy with 5, I think it was, or something like that. So, like, there's gonna be pass attempts, and I think, and quite frankly, in this game here, you have to pass the ball. We have to pass it downfield. We have to open it up. We have to allow D-Hop more than one target a game. We have to allow Hollywood Brown to get across the field more than one target a game in this game. I actually like the over in this one. Again, I think he goes to overtime. So I like the over in this one. It's probably going to be closer to 40 in this one.
I've heard the narrative is he's going to throw the ball a lot today because Pacheco has not been. Yeah, Pacheco has not been the same since he's come back. And Kareem Hunt is only good for 10, 12 carries effectively before his effectiveness starts to wear off.
Yeah, so you talk about Pacheco not being the same, right? You got to remember too, like Caliendo in left guard has been serviceable, great pass protector, but he is not the same push when you have a left tackle and a left guard of Tooney. With that guard between Creed and Tooney, like you got. That's two different run games right there. Kareem Hunt can get those hard yards. Isaiah Pacheco relies on a little bit of a hole to get that hard push in the end. Two different bodies too, right? So that's been the big downfall for Pacheco. It's not having an extra push on the left side that he normally would. So
is Hunt the guy today, Tanner? Do you think?
Oh yeah.
But
okay. No, we'll get there. We'll get there. I got some. Okay. I got some crazy theories there that will trends. At least I was looking at. Anything else, guys, from a passing standpoint for both teams?
Can we look at Mahomes passing touchdowns real quick?
Passing touchdowns.
1.5 today. I think the last time they met against Buffalo was the Noah Gray show as far as touchdowns. He had 2. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I really got a couple of props for Noah Gray that I'm really liking. But the difficult thing with this one is when they get close to that goal line, I'm not sure if they may give it to Kareem Hunt a little bit more. Hey, they may try.
Kareem Hunt's been doing it.
Yeah, they may try to throw it to a Noah Gray or a Kelsey. But I'm leaning towards him getting 2 touchdowns passing through the air today. I'm leaning towards Mahomes getting 2 touchdowns with his arm. So I'm kind of feeling the over on the 1.5 passing touchdowns today against the Bills.
So Tanner, let me ask you something. Does it seem like we have not seen that Kelsey shovel pass down near the goal line as much this year?
Yeah, they're figuring it out. The last couple of times they figured it out, what's coming, right? And it's just being too cute. I think they're trying to.
The last couple times I've seen it run, it's gone for negative yards.
Yeah. So that's a play they just keep in the vault for now. Maybe in the Super Bowl you'll see it, but that's it has not worked well at all. So
right. Yeah. I personally think the games, the narrative that I heard, I think Mahomes is going to throw more than a touchdown and a half. I think he's going to get 2 today. So I like him to go over.
He should. You should go 2 today. Dang it.
Yeah. He should get 3, actually, to be honest.
He should. What else we want to see, guys? We good?
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on. Let's move on to the rushing yard side of thing here. I just clicked on Kareem Hunt here for rushing yards here.
Yep.
Over under 34.5 on this one here. Obviously 44. The main guy in this offense, offensively. I will say before we get going here, Pacheco. We look at this 26-18-18. But if you look what he of course I don't show all of it, but his last head-to-head last year around this time frame here. He went after Buffalo for that 97 yards. And when he is on point, you see the yards here. What my big thing here is his receptions. Yeah, there it is. 1.5 receptions. He dropped the first ball last week against Houston. Ended up costing himself some momentum, and then he got on the bench for it because he dropped 2 balls in the end there for himself. I think he's due for a game here because you got to use more of a passing game. And if you're not getting into Hollywood, you're not getting to D-Hop. I mean, Isaiah Pacheco, no, runs really hard when he gets the ball, and if he can just focus in and catch the ball, a second chance here today, you're going to see similar to what he did there between Baltimore, San Francisco, or not Baltimore. Who was that? Yeah, Baltimore, San Francisco, Baltimore, Cincy, before his injury there. So I like him in the receptions mark more than I do yards, but I think Pacheco here will have a game plan with him. And as long as he doesn't do something dumb again, like he did against the Texans early, I think we're going to see him a little bit more today.
But I did some research and I heard on the radio, Buffalo gives up 44.5 receiving yards to the running back position on defense.
There you go, right here, right hand side there. There's your stats.
Yep.
A lot of green.
Yep. So I also think not only Pacheco but Samaje Perine could be in line for a couple of catches today. Whether he turns them into touchdowns or whatever, I don't know. But I think he could be in for, again, he had 2 catches last time. I think he could get the 2 catches, and his prop is 8.5 receiving yards.
6.5 on some.
FanDuel. So it's gone down. So I believe that's 1 catch he can get that today. So I went with it last week. I'm going back to the well again with it today. I just think that the narrative is Kansas City's going to throw the ball, which means if Mahomes throws 40 times, I think P. Ryan's going to find his way into at least 1 catch, probably 2. So I like P. Ryan a little bit today.
What else we want to look at backfield-wise between both teams?
James Cook is another one. Yeah.
There you are.
Especially his game against Kansas City last time. I think he had 2 touchdowns last time, right?
TDs, 2 touchdowns last time. So this is another guy that I've seen explode against KC. Yeah, he had a down one like this on the last time we played, but he's usually in the receiving game. He's usually in the rushing game pretty well. His receptions 5, 4, and 5 the last 3 times that KC's played with him. And I know he's been kind of used less in the passing game, but I still feel like this guy is a huge impact for the Bills, and they need him on. Like, plain and simple, they need him to be a force today.
I just my fear with Cook today is I just hope Buffalo doesn't forget to use him during the game, because there are games where they tend to not to use him.
But that's what they did last week.
Yeah, I know. That's my fear today is that they just don't use him like they should, especially if Kansas City jumps out early. They'll go away from him and put it in Josh Allen's hands. Say, go win us the game.
That's a Josh thing too. So
that's a Josh thing too. But
one of my concerns is Josh Allen maybe taking away some of the carries that Cook would normally see. So I think last week he had 17 against Baltimore, his rushing attempts.
Yep.
And then you see 23 against Denver in the 2 playoff games. So he's averaging 20 carries in the playoffs right now. I think today is okay. It was 14 a couple of days ago. It's at 14.5. So they got him at 15.
That's a lot of red there on the stats, on the defensive stats for running backs.
Yeah,
it is.
Look at Kansas City last time. 9 carries last time.
So
that can't happen.
I'm kind of scared of that one, And then you got Ray Davis and Ty Johnson who get sprinkled in every now and then too, who takes away some looks for James Cook. So I've been keeping an eye on that. Can we look at Ty Johnson real quick?
Ty Johnson, I'll go back
to his
Ty Johnson.
I think his rushing yards is 10.5.
Yeah, 10.5 for rushing yards, but you see there, full of green.
I think he's gonna get that. That's one of my locks right here for this game.
Yep.
He tends to break a big run.
Is only 3.5.
I kind of like that one too.
Yeah.
He tends to break a big one. He tends to break one for at least 11 or 12 yards when he does get those attempts. So I'm surprised they had it so low for this particular game. I know the Chiefs are really good against the run, and it's a really good defensive unit altogether with a great coordinator. But I definitely think he gets those 11 yards on the ground.
What's his receiving yards prop, Tanner?
Receiving yards 8.5.
He's going over that.
His receptions is 1.5. Targets.
Yeah, he's going over the 8.5 yards. For Buffalo, without Coleman, without Cooper, Kincaid's going to have to step up. Dawson Knox, who Allen trusts completely, is going to have to step up. And Ty Johnson's the third guy. He's going to have to step up and play for them to be able to beat Kansas City. So I like Ty Johnson over receiving yards today. I just think he gets 15 to 20. So
I like it.
What do you look at Ray Davis real quick? I want to see his stuff.
Yeah, let me do this here. Ray Davis. You want receptions?
Rush yards.
Rush
What
yards.
is that?
9.5 is his goal.
9.
Or
Oh,
target.
yeah. Yeah, he's going over that. Receiving yards too.
Receiving yards is 10.5.
Yeah,
I don't like.
I think he's going to be more used in the running game.
6.5 for the attempts and 1.5 receptions there.
Do we remember Baltimore, who got the first touchdown for Buffalo?
Ray Davis.
It was Ray Davis.
Yeah.
Which means James Cook was off the field down near the goal line.
Mm-hmm.
That's another problem.
Ray Davis, as the rookie, has been getting more goal line looks than James Cook.
That's the problem with Cook, is he gets taken off the field in scoring opportunity situations. And that's the problem I have with Cook today, is that Ray Davis or Ty Johnson, depending on the narrative.
I like Ray Davis they have as the number 2 back on the depth chart. So I think you're going to see him get a little bit more.
Yep,
more
I'm with it.
I like over on the rush yards for Ray Davis today.
Yeah.
I like it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got less than 15 minutes left. Let's keep her moving here. Let's talk receivers here. Receivers and tight ends, of course, going in this here. Let me change our defense. There we go.
I mean, the obvious starting point is Travis Kelce, right?
T. Kelce, man. There you go. There you go.
Kelce in the playoffs has
14 straight?
15 straight now with over 70 yards. In the championship games, he's had 4 straight championship games. He's caught a touchdown. You know where Mahomes is going with the ball.
By the way, where he's going.
By the way, I heard this
game plan.
I heard this today in the playoffs, that 70-plus straight receiving yards, right? Who's second? Does anybody know who's second on that list? He's not active.
It's not Randy Moss, is it?
No.
Gronk.
No.
Jimmy Graham?
No. He's active on X, but he's not active playing.
It's not Chad Johnson, is it?
Nah, CT Antonio Brown. Believe it or not.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, when I heard that, I was like, no way.
Wow.
So, yeah, kind of a crazy stat. I just want to throw that out. Yeah.
There's 2 guys that I would focus on with the Kansas City passing game. One is Kelce. The second is Xavier Worthy. Because I think the thing that I used last week with Worthy, and I heard it on the radio to back it up, is it looks like, Tanner, if I'm wrong, let me know. Rashee Rice was on this track and Xavier Worthy is on, where they started to ramp him up a little bit more as the season went on. And when he got in the playoffs, he started to become a factor. So I think today could be Xavier Worthy could get a little bit more love from Mahomes today.
I mean, he's already getting enough love. Like, we look at his receptions, right? Like, I mean, that's some love right there. 11, 11, 9, 6, 6. I mean, nobody else is getting that kind of love. We got Hollywood Brown, who got a few there. I mean, this is dated back to 23, so you're looking at these last 3 lines, right? 8, 7, 2. Nobody's getting that stuff compared to what Xavier Worthy is. So, like on that.
Piggyback off of that, he also made some comments about Buffalo trading back and passing up on drafting him. So I definitely think he has a little extra chip on his shoulder, and he's definitely gonna try to make some extra plays when the ball is in his hand. Can we look at Xavier Worthy's rush? He tends to get maybe 1 or 2 carries. Can we look at his rushing?
I don't
Coach,
see any there.
going right there. I was going right there.
I don't see anything for his rush attempts on here. For a
Okay,
line.
I think when I checked Prize Picks, I think it was at 2.5.
I
wouldn't be surprised if he gets a little handoff and he gets the ball in his hand and he maybe be able to make a defender miss and he actually goes over on that. Sometimes I just set a parlay with sporadic things that may happen in a game, something like that.
Yeah, looks like they took it off. Price Picks.
This is one of the props that I like. DraftKings over 3.5 rushing yards for Xavier Worthy. I like that today. I think he gets over that.
Yeah.
He'll get 1 or 2 end arounds. And as Coach Joey says, they always take 1 or 2 shots with him in the rush game. So I like that a lot today. So that's it. 3.5.
Let's take that. I mean, his rushing receiving yards here is 57.5. So
yeah,
he gets 1 big run plus his normal 4 receptions. You could be on the over for that.
Good money.
Agreed.
Can we take a look at we talked about Kelsey, but can we take a look at Noah Gray, who seems to kind of get some sneaky receptions in big games, sometimes seems to get some targets in the red zone.
Come on, Noah, where are you? There you are. Here's his reception mark.
So his can we go to his targets? I believe his targets is receiving targets is 2.5.
Yep.
I think he gets 3 targets today at least. I think he gets 3 targets today at least. And is his reception yards, is it 17 and a half or 16 and a half?
16 and a half.
Yeah, 16 and a half.
So I'm feeling confident with the reception targets. Sometimes he might get a 2 or 3 yard pass. I'm not sure if he's going to actually eclipse that 17 yards. So I'm kind of going to stay away from that one. But I do think that the Bills are going to try to focus and make it a focal point to try to slow Kelsey down. And I think Mahomes may be able to find Noah Gray in a couple of those situations where Kelsey is bracketed or covered. And I think his targets were definitely green. I think he'll definitely get 3 targets in a game that we're looking to be very competitive and maybe even go to overtime.
His prop at the beginning of the week on DraftKings was 11.5 receiving yards. I took it as soon as I saw it.
1.5 receptions. Still.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd take that over. Who else we want to see? Either team.
Shakir, Khalil Shakir would be the other one that I want to look at.
Yes.
This is Josh Allen's number 1 receiver, and I think he's going. His prop was 56.5 at the beginning of the week. I took over on that too. I think for Josh Allen to be successful, there's two reasons. One is Shakir. Khalil Shakir doesn't catch the deep ball, but what he does is he catches the short, intermediate stuff. And I think he can have 5 catches for 60 yards today pretty easily. So I went over on that.
I definitely agree. Shakir in the slot is a nightmare. He seems to make play after play in games. Definitely Josh Allen's number 1 target. So I agree. I think he's going over in the receiving yards. Can we take a look at his targets real quick?
7
targets.
Yeah.
I think that today, he will get with, I think he goes over with the targets on that one. I just think today Josh Allen is going to rely on the tight ends and Shakir when he is passing, seeing that Keon Coleman and Amari Cooper seems to be no-shows for whatever reason. I think that today he has an exceptional day and he goes over with the target. I
wonder too if Spags is going to have McDuffie follow Shakir, right? Because obviously Cooper, we know he can break out any time, but I mean, you got Watson there, you got Justin Reed in the backside. So I wonder if McDuffie, if he does follow Shakir around, because McDuffie did go run the slot last year when Snead was on the team. So like I'd be curious if that comes into play.
What did he do against KC the last time, Tanner?
That's his targets last time.
12
targets. His receptions were 8, and his receiving yards were 70.
Yeah, so I mean,
Yeah, I like
that.
I don't mind it.
Spags has to know he's the key to the passing game.
But you also remember no Jalen Watson last time. So that was the start that came after where we were sitting here like, okay, Watson, you gonna return before the playoffs? Because that'd be really cool.
Can we take a look at these Buffalo Bills tight ends? Kincaid. Can we start with Kincaid?
Yep. Let's look at Kincaid. Here's his. I'll do his last 10 for you.
All right, so he had 31.5 receiving yards. I think that Josh Allen will be targeting his tight ends a good bit today too. Kincaid was a first-round draft pick last year.
Here's his targets.
Yeah, 4.5. I think that the thing about it is Knox tends to get some looks every now and again too. So I think the tight ends are gonna get some targets. I just don't know which one.
Targets there. So
my feel today is both Kincaid and Knox go over their yardage prop. Knox is at 15.5. He's going over. Kincaid's at low 30s. He's going over. Josh Allen's got to find 2 more targets to get the ball down the field for Buffalo. So,
all right.
It's those 2.
Hey, we got to see more of Curtis Samuel. We got to see more of Curtis Samuel today, I think.
I mean, he had 2 targets.
Either Curtis Samuel or Keon Coleman have to step up today.
So I would throw the New England game out because he was, again, a lot of their guys were out. He had a lot of work. But I think he's been getting a little bit more work. You know, he's running a lot of routes. So
his his snaps. I mean, this is Keon Coleman. His snaps a game 61, 66 last 2 games. So like he's there. It's in the range. So in that matter.
I just don't think Josh Allen trusts him completely yet. So I don't think he goes to him because he just does not trust him.
Right.
So I think you're going to see him lean on Knox, Kincaid, and Shakir today. And maybe James Cook catches a couple balls out of the backfield too. So
very possible. All right, guys, we are under 5 minutes left here. Let's go ahead and lock in our bets here. Hey, once again, guys, 3 to 6 bets for this game, particularly what we consider a lock, a guarantee, and hopefully you guys are able to cash in on these locks here. So pop up my deal. All right, man. I'm ready for whoever wants to go first. Alan, you know what? We'll start with you, man.
Alrighty. So I'm going to go Josh Allen anytime touchdown. I think he gets in at least a couple times off the ground. I like Travis Kelce over receiving yards. I think they're going to focus more on Kelce more than anybody today, or at least Mahomes will. And Kelce just seems to perform in postseason games like this. I like Ray Davis over on rushing yards. So I'll go with that. And you know what? How about Dawson Knox over on receiving yards too?
All right.
I think you see a little bit more of Dawson Knox today.
You're very possible. Dawson Knox, we don't like him very much, so I understand. Coach Joey, what do you got?
All right, for this particular game, I got Josh Allen 10 rush attempts more. Think he runs the ball quite a bit today. I'm going to lock in Todd Johnson rush yards 10.5. I'm going to go more over that. Noah Gray, 2.5 receiving targets. I'm going to go more. And Kareem Hunt, rushing yards. I'm going to go more with Kareem Hunt. Those are my locks for today, guys.
2.5, I think it is. So, yeah, I like that.
Yes.
Scott?
First one's Khalil Shakir over his receiving yards. I think he's Josh Allen's favorite target. Allen, I'll see your Josh Allen touchdown, and I'll raise you to 2 touchdowns at plus 500. I think Josh Allen gets 2 today. That's my second one. My third one is Xavier Worthy, over 3.5 rushing yards, rather, not receiving rushing yards. I think he's going to get one end around and go for 10 yards. My fourth one is Josh Allen, minus 19.5 rushing yards over Isaiah Pacheco today. Which means I'm thinking Josh Allen's going to have 75 or 80 yards and Pacheco's not getting the 60.
All right.
So,
all right. That's it. All right. Man, you guys took a lot of mine already, but that's okay. That means we're on the same page. Okay. That's what's important. All right. Let's see. Where's mine? No, of course I don't have it ready like you guys do, but that's fine. We're good at this. All right. So I'm looking down the way here. Look, do I want to do it? Yeah, we're going to do it. Mahomes attempts just went down. So we're doing Mahomes over 35.5 passing attempts on this one. I like the under on Hopkins 22.5 receiving yards. Because why would you involve a Chiefs wide receiver these days? I like Hollywood Brown on the under receiving yards of 41.5. Again, I just don't see the. I hope I'm wrong on this. I think they get receptions, but I don't think they get that. I am loving me again. I already talked about it here. Pacheco, we're going the over. Where you at? 5.5 receiving yards today for him. I still think he's going to be a factor. He has to be a factor in this one here. And James Cook. This one's an interesting one, but James Cook over 71.5 rush and receiving yards. And then Chiefs minus 1.5. Bank on it. Bank on it. So there you go. That's another what do we got here? That's another 18 bets for you for the day to end the day out. So
I got something from college, by the way, that this breaking news just came across to me. It looks like Ohio State might be losing both coordinators. Jim Knowles is the new defensive coordinator for Penn State, and
why would he do that?
And Chip Kelly is looking like he's going to Texas to be the new offensive coordinator at Texas.
What?
That's crazy.
Why on earth would you go to?
Why would he go to Penn State? Man,
that's wild.
That's wild. Losing a lot of talent on the defensive side of the ball.
There was talks that Jim Knowles was going to go to Oklahoma, but it looks like BB is going to be calling the defense this year.
Man,
Venables is going to be calling our defense, and we got the OC from Washington State last year. So
this is the Detroit Lions of college football. They're taking all the coordinators away from them.
That's what you get for winning, I guess. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back.
What a championship, the coordinators go with it.
Exactly. That's how it goes. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back next Saturday. We'll be talking all things sports once again here, and probably Sunday as well. It is Pro Bowl week, and quite frankly, I don't think any of us
don't want to do props on the flag football game.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm gonna go ahead and get this one out. That's the case. So. Yeah, I ain't about it. So, yeah, catch us out. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow us Rec Room Sports Hub. We'll be back on Tuesday night with the Rec Room Sports Weekly. Of course, Coach Joey will be there. Alan Perales. Alan will be doing the Lock It In bets on Tuesday night. I will not be in attendance. So, no pressure. No pressure. You'll be all right. So
Wonderful.
But make sure you guys follow us here. We'll be back next Saturday, Sunday. With more sports bets and hopefully recapping a profitable Sunday. So, see you guys.